Now, next is separation of church and state. The distinction of role and function of religious institution and government body ensures that neither exert undue influence over the others. During early times, medieval times, magkasama po ang church as state. And we know malaking pagkakagulo doon dahil yung church, yung mga pope, ay sila rin ang leader o president. And they used it to abuse. Of course, pag pinagsama mo yan, parating may abuse. But Jesus make it clear na hindi po dapat separate ang church and state. So the scriptures delineates the responsibility of religion and civil authorities advocating for mutual respect and authority. Si Jesus mismo nagsabi, remember, nung tinetest siya ng mga Pharisee and mga leaders ng Jew. Kasi pag nagkamali si Jesus, pwede siyang arestuhin ng Roman Empire. Pag nagkamali naman siya sa iba, pwede siyang accuse. But Jesus, the most intelligent human being ever lived, naisahan na naman sila ni Jesus, ng ating Panginoon, nung sinabi ni Jesus. Jesus said to them, render to Caesar the things that are Caesar, and to God the things that are God. And they marveled at him. See? So, sabihin, Caesar is yung emperor, I think alam nyo to, ng Roman Empire. Yung para sa government ni Caesar, ng Roman Empire, ibigay nyo. At yung para kay God, yung spiritual duty nyo, ibigay natin. So it means that there's a two existing bodies na dapat nating pina-follow to serve our God through church, at the same time to be a responsible citizen as a state. Sabi sa the biblical directive to render unto Caesar underscored the principle of distinct yet harmonious sphere of divine and civil responsibility. Now, theological perspective, again, on divine ordination of authorities. So the Bible teaches that all governing authorities are established by God to maintain order and justice. So I hope maliwanag na sa atin yun na kahit secular government ay may permit kay God. Okay? Dahil ang purpose nila is to implement yung peace and order at implement yung justice. Now, kung may kalukuhan man silang ginagawa, mananagot sila sa Panginoon, ngunit ang duty natin ay sumunod. Of course, there will be injustice. Of course, may mga disorder dahil hindi naman po ang nagpapa-implement ay perfecto. Sabi, therefore, whoever resists the authorities resists what God has appointed, and those who resist will incur judgment. So may warning pa si Paul. At sabi sa Biblia, kapag niresist mo daw yung authority na in-appoint ni God, niresist mo na si God. And may threat pa na may judgment sa'yo. Ang judgment is, of course, kakalabanin mo yung gobyerno. In a physical sense, mananagot ka sa gobyerno. On the spiritual sense, you disobey God. Here a picture si Donald Trump, yun, oath-taking niya. You will notice yung Bible na nag-oath-taking kasi sa US, I think sa Pilipinas rin, there always a Bible sa kanilang oath-taking kasi hindi lang sila uh, hinalal ng tao, sila rin ay inauthorize ni God to rule ang US. And in most government, mapapansin nyo, now, yung US is their constitution is based on the Bible. So magandang pag-aralan nyo yan. The role of religious leaders in politics. The involvement of religious leaders in political process has been a subject of ongoing debate, in particular concerning how their faith influence government. And so, yun, dapat ba yung mga religious leader mga ay ma-involve sa politics? So, yun isa sa mga topic right now. Yes and no, and we will discuss it more into details. Ito yung picture nung sinulat ng Constitution ng US, most of the mga nagsulat nito ay mga totoong Kristiyano and even pastors. That's why pag binasa mo, di ba sa pera nila, nakasulat in God we trust. Pag binasa mo yung Constitution nila, it's like a modern interpretation of the Bible. Kasi ando dun yung mga strict rules. So although time to time ina-amend nila at nawawala na, and maaaring hindi nyo na makita ngayon, especially pumasok na dyan yun believe na freedom ng lahat which is unbiblical, at yun ngayon ang kinokontra ng gobyerno na Trump na maalis yung mga unbiblical practices. So yun yung battle ngayon. The role of religious leaders in politics. Few political leaders speak about genders and biblical values. Napakakonti. Mostly, actually, in the recent times sa US, wala nang nag-discuss about faith. Natatakot silang sabihin si Jesus Christ, natatakot silang sabihin Christmas. Biro mo, Christmas lang, sasabihin mo, natatakot ka pa. Kasi parang magiging one-sided ka sa Kristiyano. Paano naman yung side ng mga hindi Kristiyano? Well, we need to understand, yun ang ini-insist nila, ang US government in-established by Christians using a Christian constitution that is based on the Bible. And the very foundation is Christian. And now, these modern principles ng mga woke community ay ayaw nilang ma-offend yung minority, and so they don't discuss about their faith. And especially in the last few decades, hindi na talaga faithful yung mga president sa US. Hindi na makitaan sila ng Christian characteristics, even they call themselves Christians. At ang effect yan, nasisira rin yung society mo. Kasi in my understanding, the only way to have a good government, not a perfect, a good government, if you will follow the principles sa Bible, or else wala rin. So si Donald Trump, president ng US, said that government should recognize only two genders, male and female. Bakit kailangan niya pang i-mention to? Napakahalaga po to sa situation sa US ngayon dahil they almost nag-collapse ang system nila na majority during the time ng previous leadership. Ang principles is respect every gender. Ibig sabihin no na maganda pakinggan na respect every gender. Ibig sabihin nun pati third sex, pati LGBTQ i-respect. Well, si Donald Trump ay nanindigan in a biblical way na ayon sa Bible, male and female lang. And so, nagiba, yun yung matagal na setup na ginawa. Dahil you will be surprised, even sa mga school nila, tinuturo na sa school nila na ikaw ang magdidesisyon ng iyong gender. Pwede nang sumali sa sports, ang mga bading sa competition ng mga babae. That's why after this, nung sinabi niyang enough with that, we're going back to Bible, so male and female. So, meron pa rin leaders na iilan na lang na who make a stand on what is biblically right. So sabi sa news reporter ng Reuters, as of today, it will henceforth be the official policy of the United States government that there are only two genders, male and female. So itong way na to, this shows that politics can be used to stand for biblical truths. However, as Christians, we must always share the truth with love, not hate. Our goal is to help people understand God's word while treating them with kindness and respect. Especially sa community ng LGBTQ+, right? But doesn't mean we agree with them. Yun po yung sinabing truth. We stand with the biblical truth. At the same time, we show love kasi po Kristiyano tayo. And that's the only way for them to be convinced if we will show love to them. Doesn't mean pag nagpakita tayo ng kindness is we agree with them. We need to show na hindi rin tayo nag-agree sa kanilang ginagawa, but we need to say it in a loving way. Or else, tatalikuran lang tayo. And that's why hindi nagiging effective ang mga Christian ngayon kasi nga yung attitude natin, mas madali mag-judge